I wonder how many phrases the tree has. It's had a few. Vaya con Dios, Jeff, and friends. Here at Deva Yuga, which was popular for sightseeing. To tell you the truth, this dungeon's less than great. Which, considering that dungeons in this have been, like, at best, mediocre. To be expected. Popular for sightseeing. During the first dip into Deva Yuga, acquired several local cards, assembled and distributed what are probably the last personas the team will get to use. Seems like we have what we need. There's got to be some sort of casino in here, somewhere.
You're dead.
Guido Sardinia invaded the collective unconscious to seize the forbidden power of complete monopoly on gambling. This will not stand. Berserker. Power of Ugg. So we now face the question of whether any of these personae will actually be worth the effort to rank up. Or if we could have just stuck with our proven tech. To be determined. It's at least something structured to do while I exhaust the last of these hallways.
You're dead.
Just gotta revelate which way to the top floor so we can speak to the manager. We will claim many numbers on the way. Because there's this room, which had an encounter in front of it today, as you do. It's locked, but suggests that that's where the boss man is supposed to be. So perhaps somewhere in the entire rest of this hellscape is a way to open that door? Maybe. Terrifying.
You wish.
Well. Well.
You're dead.
Was about to say things about this dungeon seeming like it was out of threats. Though, really, probably it is out of threats. It has annoyances, not threats. Charm isn't as dangerous as it could be, since our characters do, like, chip damage to each other with friendly fire. One of many sad attacks. It's fine. Also, let's see here. Which local cards did I have still? Painter, Ithel, Astral, and Snake. With room for a couple more. Guido is not here. What if he's up there? Somewhere. Down and then back up again. Not there. There. Can probe these corridors. One of them might finally have a switch for the first time in 40 hours. Good times. There. Explicitly pacing out more of these dead ends will help reduce confusion if I end up having to retrace this entire building again. And again, and again. If. Nothing in particular. They just are.
You wish.
At least a lot of numbers fall out of this dungeon. The number will go up. The number will be appreciably large by the time we reach whatever end. Also, because of, like, the full refills on level ups,
You wish.
no dungeon has ever really wore us out of resources. The closest that characters have ever come to running out of SP has been during long boss fights, which seems like exactly the situation where that should come up. You'll need to retread a dungeon, 6 or 7 times because they're terrible to navigate, not because they're a drain on your materials. For sightseeing, it's very popular. Zomba glove. Okay, that's a weapon. That's a punch. Crystal. Crystal. Crystals. Although, have we found any other relevant? Not really. No. Bristol. Alright, snakes, leave. So many items that we've never had to use. It's weird.
Help me!
Take this!
They are indeed weak to whip.
Go! You wish.
The power of Hollier.
Persona!
Just gonna go ahead and pace out these holes.
Persona!
Hey, Persona! Persona!
Like much of the franchise before and after it. What you have here are some actually kind of neat mechanisms that communicate themselves poorly and also stay around too long. Repeat themselves too much. may as well card up more of these creatures. It'll save time.
Wish.
Help me!
Kick. Take it.
Just imagine, instead of having a segment that's, cut up into a series of incremental tasks that you accomplish in order to advance it, it's just one long, featureless, bendy tube.
Hey, Persona! Go!
A perfectly smooth Ouroboros.
Persona!
Tubes into tubes into tubes. Popular for sightseeing.
Dead.
Kick.
Now, later personas do also have bland, featureless, snap-together series of tubes dungeons. But those are at least routinely sprinkled with treasure. And generally aren't mazes? Especially when they're procedurally assembled. Prefab, snapped bits. There's no pretense of navigating to find the exit of a space. You're fighting your way through a gauntlet of enemies until you're through with them. Every so often, opening a box. After living in Deva Yuga for, the last 7 months, the team has gotten very friendly with the residents. The team have become residents. Okay. Poison Pin should be a physical, and thus not absorbed. We'll see. Yeah, we're fine.
Take this! You wish.
Mordo does good work. Mordo has done nothing but good things for the team.
Take this!
No mercy for cubes.
What's up?
You lay in a ditch. $60 in emotional damages. I had persuaded these guys before as well. Somehow. Yeah, so also during previous session, when I went and looked up and found out about, like, incompatibilities for tarot suits for personas, I saw other translations of what each character's diplomacy verbs are that are much more descriptive of what they're supposed to be doing when they invoke this verb. Hey, fight me. Fight me or fight with me. Either way, you're gonna fight. Alright. 2 more slots in the card library. Popular for sightseeing. I have to wonder if these voices are sampled from somewhere, or if they're just an original recording to go into this track. Like, this feels like a situation where a musician might, like, find a quote from an obscure film they like, and just slip it into a song. Alright, so this is a pretty extensive block of dead ends. None of you are a switch? No? Nobody? Nothing? Just corridors. You forgot to furnish your dungeon with anything. These things happen. Like, just the choice of wall textures has been more themed, more charismatic than most previous dungeons. That says little, though. Many of the dungeons have been otherwise featureless brick corridors. Now we're in Marble Zone. Analyze.
Wish. Kick it!
The more fights we get into between now and whatever ending is waiting, the closer we get to the fastest Jeff. So yeah, in preemptive retrospect, this sure is a prototype for the Persona sub-franchise. You know, in the way that real prototype machines are, in that they're often very rough, improvised, full of placeholder bits, functional and able to demonstrate what they're supposed to do, but in many ways terrible. This is very garage prototype for Persona. Trash bag prototype. It has the approximate weight and dimensions of a Persona.
Hey, Persona!
Persona!
You know, they had to make it out of felt and styrofoam,
Take it!
but that just kept costs down while they were working out the shape. Plenty of stock material left over to facilitate it. Now, Jeff, having achieved hyperspeed, and thus become able to open a fight by just sending off a wave of charm bullets into the enemy. It's a good way to work. The functional Jeff.
Hey, Persona! Get him! Take it!
Persona!
So, the left path here eventually leads to those upstairs. And the right path is back into all of that previous spider web. Alright, so. Forward. Sightseeing. As was popular at the time. Once you have most of the spell cards for a given encounter list, more of your time is taken up walking around than resolving fights. And each fight becomes an immediate neutral or positive thing, guaranteed. It creates an okay dynamic for the dungeoning. You get in, you have a bit of a fight until you're up to appropriate level, and then you can just choose to stop fighting with diplomacy. But still get some treasure even though you aren't fighting. Just fuck you up real quick. I never had to engage the gem store. That's a whole nother mini-game mechanic, deciding how to try to spend your gems on things. According to the phases of the moon. Got to ignore that entirely. There's pages of the manual devoted to that.
Help me!
Hey, Persona!
I've been able to ignore the moon wheel almost entirely. But you don't really control the moon wheel. And it doesn't influence much day to day. It's just kind of there. There's been kind of a shortage of things that respond to the moon. Maybe they were front-loaded into the earlier zones more?
Help me!
Take this! Persona! Get him!
I think for a lot of these moves, if you just like exactly cut out the amount of time that the Persona summoning animation takes, you'd end up with reasonable amounts of time to illustrate each action.
You're dead.
Especially when, like, the Personas themselves have 2 or 3 frames of animation.
Take it! You wish.
Help me!
Relevant phase of the orb. Alright, so let's chart out all of this. Just have it formally written down. Fully inscribed on the map.
Take it!
Persona!
moon meter lives in an odd place. For something that's given as much screen real estate as the current health and mana of your entire team, it doesn't do enough.
Hey, Persona!
More things should be influenced by the moon.
Persona!
We've managed to accumulate tens of thousands of cash while in Deva Yuga. You needed a more clear and direct illustration of the extent of this dungeon. We have real money. Jeff and friends could go out and buy a car. Their next great adventure. Especially in 90s money. Yeah, they need to get themselves a mystery van from which to orchestrate more paranormal adventures. So now we're back up to 3rd floor. As we start at the 3rd floor and then wiggle around the basement again. Before returning to exactly where we are now. Third floor, popular for sightseeing.
You're dead.
The bad ending where there was no way out of Deva Yuga.
Persona!
copy protection where there is no way out of David Yuka. Back of the CD case, which was popular for sightseeing. Ah, the tiny angels. Happy snobs. You know, actually, on that note, can we get a quick history here? A quick fact check on the entity. Yeah, Cupid's not actually an angel. He's a tiny Roman deity. Absorbed into other traditions via, you know, the usual lines of descent. Of small person with bird wings being an image that gets associated with angels. He's the son of Venus and Mars. These tiny babies. Most of the interest bar filled by just dangling a shiny object in front of children. Makes sense. Well, have to take him out. Classical symbol of romance, a baby with a gun.
Help me!
Take this!
The sounds of Succulum.
Get him! Take this! Kick!
Should check on everyone's current Persona ranks.
Help me!
Kick!
If I have to slay all 10,000 monsters in this castle, I may as well get as many numbers as possible.
You wish.
Yeah, Deva is done. I can see about Azrael. Mordo is nearly complete. Mephisto is working on it. Mach is getting up there. Though the last rank of each persona seems to take longer than, like, the rest of them combined. Azrael has strength up. Good times. Magnet all. Magnets for everyone.
Take this!
An orb shatters on every page. All for sightseeing, as was popular at the time. Dance. Feel like I'd persuaded at least one dance.
Ma. Ma.
Well,
よかな
alright. So we're back to this one side room, which was like our first sign of tangible progress through the dungeon. This still seems to be a way to go. So probably I just mistakenly discarded some path.
Ma.
Alright, what about Sakula, though? Who is grumpy and weak. Yeah. Just snob at him.
Ma. Ma.
Close. Maybe if I'd kept with the sarcasm. Clone is highly destroyable. Gonna leave them on the list of things to destroy. Alright, back to 4th floor. Paintings out of the way.
Kick it.
And for reference, that road, featuring the other side room, heads to those stairs, up to floor 5. To be certain, we will exhaust the rest of this floor. Personality, happy. Just glad to be here. He's up now.
What's up? Want some?
They had their chance to be reasonable.
What's up? Get him!
the team does work.
Kick it.
The thought does occur. I'm probably not going to make any more creatures. The hypothetical difficulty wall that would have demanded that I break out a guide to create more powerful spirits. Has it manifested? Nice! All according to plan.
You're dead.
So I could just snap open a fusion guide,
Take it.
give it a look over, just think about it. It's not going to influence any of the decisions I have left to make. It would just be a chance to see the roads not taken. Yeah, it's kind of weird that cyborgs would be resistant to magnets.
Hey, Persona!
Alright, I've opened 2 wiki articles. Fusion Theory of Persona 1 and Complete Fusion Chart for Persona 1.
You wish.
The reading to begin shortly. So, Introduction Fusion System in SMT Persona is unique in the Persona series. You must gather spell cards from demons through maximizing their eagerness. Use these cards as an ingredient of fusion. So explaining how that differs from later on, where the cards are themselves synonymous with having the persona. And then also used for fusion. Here there's no baseline. You have to do the mixing. So, fundamentals. Understanding the difference between tribes and orders is required for successful fusions. In Persona, on top of the order system, there is also the tribe system, which has been traditionally used in the SMT series. There are 19 tribes. Knight, Yoma, Fairy, Divine, Fallen, Snake, Drake, Flight, Raptor, Beast, Wilder, Femme, Brute, Jireh, Jackie, Haunt, Spirit, Grave, and Foul. Each of those have characteristics listed. They're also furthermore separated into Dark, Holy, Elemental, or Force. Those 4 broader categories. And there are then the 22 orders of the major arcana. Magician, Priestess, Emperor, Empress, Emperor, Hierophant, Lovers, Chariot, Strength, Hermit, Fortune, Justice, Hangman, Death, Temperance, Devil, Tower, Star, Moon, Sun, Judgment, World, Fool. As you do. Popular sightseeing destinations, one and all. To tell you the truth. So, nothing additional revealed here on Devayuga floor number 4. Just a relatively straight shot to the stairs. I did not have Water Asp. Or I negotiated with one and then fused it, right? So, the resulting persona is always expressed in the order system, but the ingredients that give such result are always expressed in the tribe system. So you'll see a recipe like tribe A x tribe B equals a certain order. You can only fuse 2 demons in Persona, however you can interfere with the outcome by changing the sequence of the demons, applying items, or synchronizing your fusion with the moon phases. So the moon can influence something that they never mention the moon influencing. And that just makes too much sense. That's classic moon resonance right there. There's no, that's the original set of stairs. There's that separate hallway that we can see reaching a dead end, but may as well probe it, just to be sure.
What's up?
Level of the resulting persona. To determine the level of a persona, determine the order of the result, take the average of the 2 demons and truncate it, add 3. The resulting persona will be the first one that has a level bigger than your answer. Does that make sense? That is similar bones to how a lot of fusing and combining alchemic systems work in many a JRPG. There's some list of results, and then a formula will land at the first available candidate in such a way that it tends to flow uphill. That's how, like, at the very start of the game, we had recipes that could produce level 80 personas. They were just landing on suits for which there is nothing but high-level results. So, coloration. White, nothing happens. Orange, unstable, higher chance of accident. Blue, beneficial. Persona can have plus 5 to its highest stat, and plus 20 to magic defense. And the symbols. Normal fusion. First dominant, a skill will be inherited from the first demon, entering the recipe according to priority. Beneficial second dominant, skill will be inherited from the second demon, entering the recipe according to priority, all stats +1. Unfavorable second dominant, skill will be inherited from second demon, but all stats -1. And cannot fuse. That's the directions of arrow that were showing up. To the right, up, and then down. As we hit those stairs. For 5th floor of Deva Yuga. Where things appeared to just kind of stop here. So this is where exploration will hopefully show a road not taken. So, why was I denied making or equipping a certain persona? You may not carry 2 identical personas. If you need to fuse a new one, you will have to return the existing one. You may not fuse personas 10 levels higher than the main character's persona level. Personas cannot be equipped with a character unless if their affinity is worst. And persona cannot be equipped by a character if their persona level is lower than that of the persona. What is the combination of tribes that give you a fool persona? There isn't one. Fools can only be made through accidents. Fools are special. Now, is that good special result or bad special result? Or interesting special result? There, get a bunch of inputs out of the way. Skeletons. We didn't see any of these on the way up last time. Level 45 bones. Powerful. So, skill inheritance. There are 2 ways that let your Resultant Persona learn a skill that is not in their default list: inheriting from a parent demon or learning from a spell tablet. Inherited skills will be available for using after the Resultant Persona reaches rank 2. Some demons contribute 1 to 3 inheritable skills during fusion, according to their position in the fusion and the sign of the fusion. The resulting persona will pick up a skill according to default priority. A more foolproof way to insert a skill into the skill list is by throwing in a tablet. Low to medium level offensive tablets can be found in dungeons or obtained as loot after battles. Top tier offensive tablets are available in the casino. Recovery tablets are readily available in the pharmacy. Most personas are also awarded a tablet upon being returned. For those who are into save load or gambling, you may also throw in an item that imparts a random effect to the fusion. There's a slim chance that random effect will turn out to be skill transference. Skill inheritance rules are as follows. Only 1 skill will be inherited. Skills from tablets take priority compared to skills from demons. There's Virtue. Who, yes, like many other angels, is magic-proof, but not bulletproof. When ranking up to 2, the inherited skill will be learned. the resultant persona already has the skill by default, if the inherited persona already has the inherited skill by default, it will not be learned. If the donor parent has more than one spell, then the second inheritable skill will be the result. Property of the resultant persona may cause an inheritance to fail. For example, Jack Frost cannot inherit, Big Fire, even if a Firestone is used for the effect. For a complete list, see some other page. But to tell you the truth, for sightseeing, very popular. Item fusion. So, 5 types of items that can be used in fusion. Expendables that have random effects and teach skills. Tablets that teach skills. Equipment will give strength, vitality, dexterity, speed, or luck up. Gems will change persona within an order. And totems that generate special personas. Weak to raise. Skeletons, easily destroyed by the atom.
Take this! You're dead.
Bones are easily shattered by physics, surprising no one. Hidden potentials. By fusing some particular tribes at a certain moon phase, the resulting persona may acquire a hidden skill known as a hidden potential. Special conditions needed to fulfill the hidden potential to take effect. Persona has to be active, equipped in first position. Persona needs to be at least rank 6. Needs to be of the character's best affinity. So we're well into the field of JARPG mechanics that are built to, never come up naturally. Mechanics that cannot be discovered on their own. Mechanics that are just kind of the designer just kind of doing stuff. Just kind of writing lines to write lines. Build this elaborate mechanism and then hide it under the floorboards and never tell anyone it was there. If all the above are true, when a character's HP has dropped into the red, their hidden potentials may happen based on random chance. The exception is the latent revival, which requires the character die in order to be activated. There are numerous types of hidden potential listed below are the most effective ones. Each persona can have only one hidden potential. So you need to have first created your persona under the appropriate phase of the moon, hope that it manifested the special ability, then take it into battle while it's nearly fully ranked up, and then die or be mangled, and maybe the boots will turn on. And then just to read off one of these as an example of this. Latent recovery. Phase full moon. Conditions use a Drake, Raptor, Wilder, Jackie, Haunt, Spirit, Grave, or Foul in the second position of the fusion. 25% chance of reviving the character with full HP. Persona returns to rank 1, so also it's garbage. Also it's terrible. Just burn off all your levels. For a single automatic revive. Destroy yourself. Just gotta turn the dice on, Jeff. Yes, and then there's a couple more examples of those. Here's a really weird desperation attack that you will never discover. It is a gigantic waste of everyone's time.
You wish.
On to fusion accidents. Okay, there's a certain chance that a fusion may not return what was promised, known as a fusion accident. Igor, host of the Velvet Room, will tell you when something irregular has happened. A quick way to tell if an accident has occurred is by pressing the start button while the tent is being lowered over the two demons. If you cannot bypass the scene, then an irregular event has occurred. Chance of a fusion accident depends on the accident types. Order Switch has an 8 in 256 chance on a white fusion, 8 in 256 on an orange fusion, and 2 in 256 on a blue fusion. Fool, which causes a Fool persona to form. 1 in 256 on white, 4 in 256 on orange, 2 in 256 on blue. Jellyman! All stats -5. 7 out of 256 on a white fusion, 32 out of 256 on an orange, 0 on a blue. Upgrade, all stats +5. Chance of 8 on white, chance of 8 on blue, 0 chance on orange. And random inheritance. Randomly inherit a favorable spell from your parents. 8 on white, 20 on orange, 4 on blue. And now, if you roll the odds of an order switch, you have a 32 out of 256 chance of becoming a Hermit, Sun, World, Lovers, Temperance, or Moon, a 10 chance of becoming Magician, Emperor, Justice, or Empress, and a 6 chance of becoming Priestess, Hierophant, Judgment, or Chariot. Because I'm sure that very matters. That very important tier list of, yep, here's a dead end. None of these hallways go anywhere. The dungeon doesn't go anywhere? The dungeon doesn't go anywhere. What is this? Is there a false wall somewhere? Maybe.
Hey, Persona! Get him!
Alright, so we'll be looking up something else once I'm done reading about fusion rules. Because, dungeon. So, Fool creation. Fool personas can only be created by accident. There are 3 of them, all characterized by their colorful skill sets, low SP requirements, and strong against all attacks property. They are worth making. There's only a level 30, 47, and 61 Fool. I have no grievance with you, and only you. which when you get is based on the sum of the levels of your ingredients. And random inheritance can still happen to a fool. And at least in the PSP version, the RNG for fusion accidents is manipulable via step count between a save point and a velvet room. People have worked out the tables to predict exactly what will happen during fusion for that version. Alright, and the fusion chart is an interesting to look at. It doesn't have the names of any of the persona themselves. Just the general rules, again, printed out. Of how the families weave together, which allegedly, you know, that was the table from the manual. So that's public information. Okay, so standing here at the top of Deva Yuga, as far as is known, let's just go look this up, because if it's a false wall, and I had this printed on some sort of physical plastic disc, I would be taking actions through physics. Somewhere on this floor, there is a switch. Somewhere on this floor, there is an actual switch that will open a path. Has anyone bothered to produce a map of Deva Yuga? Looks like yes. So... well, I gotta orient this accordingly. See if things sync up. Yes, they do. So... over on the side of this corridor here, that noodle, is something. That might be our switch. And then there's a bunch of additional rooms that live over here that we'll gain access to after the switch. So after 40 hours of not needing to do that at all in any previous dungeon, now actually go check every wall for... there we go. Here's a lever. You want to pull the lever? You pull the lever. Okay, so that is barely visible while you're walking past it. You could notice it. The 1 in 1,000 walls that looks slightly different than the rest of them. In these endless corridors. You could think it's a decoration, but there are always exactly like 2 ways that walls look. It is popular for sightseeing. And now, I'm surprised the map updated in real time to tell me that's no longer a dead end. So here we are. Progress. $20 and progress. What a time to be alive.
What's up? Good.
Onward to victory. Or... yeah, okay. Another switch. Which makes this into a pitfall. Which means now we are trapped in progress. There is no escape from having moved forward. So I can put away that map. So now I'm here, where there's stairs over there, and that's a pitfall. So that's our way back out. That's a valve. things may move.
Persona! Take it!
Look, a room with people, with treasure. This is always meant forward motion. There's gems here. Yes, Science Man is a human. Everyone's hooting about the Armageddon because Sardinia has seized control of the Undermind, of the dream space. Well, this looks promising. This looks... So, red ceiling bad or red ceiling good? The floor is hooting at me. Is this a puzzle, or is this just a look? Red ceiling may have been good. Okay, solve a puzzle to get this door to unlock. Stepping on tiles toggles them. Alright. So let's reset this by cycling back through all the steps. I need to make... It's Q*bert. It's time to Q*bert. Which is fortunately not too difficult to do when you can step in any direction and reverse course at any time. There. After 40 hours, they finally put a movement puzzle into a dungeon. Where have those been the entire rest of the game? It even beeped to let you know you did it. And that was all that was in the But Here's We Don't Know, behind the only puzzle. Alright, let's have a moment to pretend that there was enough text in the rest of this game for it to have developed and explored themes. Why does Jeff? We already answered this earlier. Why does Jeff? Jeff wants to know. The question is the purpose. Why Jeff? Why not Jeff? This personality. There he be. One level 66 Guido. Yeah, we need to be ready to take this seriously. Anything could happen here. Proven technology only. So, what can we do to you? You like atoms? Or blasts? Or regular physical attack, reasonable heft? And start stacking some debuffs? Let's see what happens. He big.
Take it.
Noted.
Kusana! You wish.
And just taking a moment to look up here and confirm, since it doesn't seem to be popping into the text yet, but his persona is Nyarlathotep. Your boy Gnarls. Friend to all the crawling chaos. Yeah, blasting isn't good for much here. Probably gonna fall back on bullets. Don't know if he's bulletproof. Atoms are doing alright. Rude. Alright, rays don't do much. Bullets, though. Bullets, though.
You're dead.
The power of God.
Hey, Kusana! You wish.
Why don't we just shoot him? Alright, arrows don't do great here. Bullets, though.
Want some?
Massacre. He has become Super Guido. Super Guido. Do you still take atoms? Or bullets? Or axes? Do you still use physical attacks? Highly vulnerable to atoms. Regular resistant to bullets. How about blasting?
You're dead.
Take it!
Mediocre. So we've identified the atom as a weak point.
Take this!
Phase 1, weak to bullets. Phase 2, weak to radiation. Or at least reasonably vulnerable. It must have crit the first time. Gun will be more reliable. Gun is consistent. Yeah, standard Jeff tactics. Pretty strong physical attack. I should put more strength down into it. That will matter. Switch back to Mordo. If on the road you meet God. Preload.
Cheeky. This sucks.
Agreed. So, gun. Life orb. And away we go.
Take
It's shocking that more things haven't spammed instant kill spells at us before now.
You're dead. Help me!
Yeah, 2 heal-alls. We are unbreakable. How about magnets? You like magnets? Magnets work.
Cheeky.
Bullets work. Yes, so now, to make it clear, to state it, and confirm that the characters didn't know that that was what was going on. They didn't get it. Bill just outright said that they had pierced into the world of the mind. They didn't get it. Steel is heavier than anima. Wait. May was May. Was Mary, was Margaret. Was May. Was Maria. Stone is Stein. Well. So now we have to go all the way back down the dungeon to that other room. Which is easily facilitated by that one pitfall. Being down a party member isn't too big a deal. The scientists are from the real world. They got pulled in with the portal. Those are Sebek employees. They may have had different dialogue now that we've advanced a step. Who knows? Sightseeing is very popular. Fortunately, Jeff has a good sync ratio with Godzilla, so power is available for those who need it. Those who need it delivered to their bodies. The real monster was teens. You can have as many of hims as you want. Forget about it. Bend. So that's the bad ending. However, that's the Jeff ending. There's time for Jeff%. And I got a bunch of remarks about overall take on this out of the way while trudging about through Deva. Let's kind of trudge on through the names here. Casino programmers. They did good work. If you were on course for the good end, there would be things to do after Deva Yuga. And that is where you would have access to Final Casino, presumably? Having returned to regular world? And gotten to step back out into the city, maybe? Who knows? Left is an exercise for the viewer. Good joke. And looks like, yeah, no buttons are doing anything. It's just stopping here. So, this was the moment. I did the entire rest of that without save states just to keep this on tap ready to go. The moment that confirmed bad end was failing to diplome with this child. Where, of course, so in order for these little diplomacy mini games to make sense, there has to be some room for the player to, like, conduct a dialogue and understand, like, the texture of what's going on, get a read on the personalities they're supposed to be interacting with, and choose the proper options. Which, as we've seen throughout the game, is complicated by the quality of the localization. So if you'll recall here, we arrived at the gingerbread house in the woods, and we found the spirit child here. And the child is afraid and hiding out here, but we want the mirror, the locket, in order to open up the Mind Palace. And we're trying to persuade her to either give us the mirror or come with us. So at the time, earnestly wanting to figure out what the correct options were, I chose "it's safe" out of expecting that to mean "it's safe with us. Jeff and friends will protect you." But it turned out to be acknowledging, yeah, you're pretty safe here, I guess? Sure. So that's the opposite of what it looked like to me at a glance. I chose away from stop, and away from indifference, and away from, yeah, but out of... This one sounds like you're just gonna scare the child more. You know, the child is frightened and hiding in the corner. You don't shout at it. You try and, soothe and relax a child when they are frightened. So just kind of shrugging and jeffing at them while appropriately jeff, like, that's probably going to do nothing. This seems like it's the opposite of helpful, and also trying to, like, be high-minded and start procedurally arguing with a tiny child isn't going to be very helpful. But actually, the correct answer is to just shout at it. Just tell it to stop hiding. Just no. Don't. For the others of these, there's actually, like, for this one and the final one, there's 2 correct options. You can fight for everyone or fight for yourself. Either of those is valid. I think. We'll see. I have the save state right there. And why do you live? Dude. I already had the right... It's either to find the answer is the correct answer, or either of these actually works. Why is Jeff? So, yell at a child, and skip the bear fight and just receive the mirror, and now instead you are on the path to victory. And now things proceed as they did before, except there's like 2 or 3 additional dungeons after David Yuga. Or would be. However, this is the end. Cogito ergo Jeff. No difference between the dream and the wake. Only Jeff. The final revelation.